A few weeks ago, I had a request from a subscriber for a guide on the different types of sewing machine needles. So today, I'll take you through the setup of the needle and how it impacts your project. At the end, you'll know what type and size of needle to use for each project, giving you better results. Also, I have included a downloadable file in the description for a quick guide for you to keep with a summary involved. Before I begin, this is a general guide. If your machine manual tells you different, then I always advise you to go with your manual. Not all machines run the same, and your first step should always be to consult your manual. I am not being responsible for you breaking your machine. The needle is made up of 5 parts. The shank connects to your machine. Home machines have a flat back, industrial machines are fully round. The shaft is the long centre part, and this is the section that determines the size of the needle. The thickness relates to the number. I will talk you through these later. The eye is the hole you pass your thread through. The point is the tip of the needle. The shape changes depending on the type of needle you buy. The scarf is the indentation in the back of the needle starting above the eye. This is where the bobbin thread is passed through by the machine, forming the stitch. When you buy a packet of needles, they will have a number on. Usually there will be 2, so for example 75/11. This is due to different countries having a different sizing system. European is numbered 60 to 110, and the European system is based on the dimension of the shaft of the needle. So a 60 will have a 0.6mm shaft. 100 has a 1mm shaft. The American system is 8 to 18. For both systems, the lower the number is, the finer the needle. Light fabrics require a small needle. If you're unsure between 2 sizes, I recommend going for the smaller of the 2 first and moving up if you need. Also remember that a smaller needle will require a more delicate fine thread. A larger needle will need a thicker thread. The needle creates a hole large enough to place the thread inside. If the hole is too large, the thread can shift and loosen, and it will affect your tension. The following chart breaks down the needle size for types of fabric. This is on the summary sheet you can download in the description below or else screenshot now. Each brand of needle has a variation on the name of the needles, but they tend to follow a general theme. I'll go through some here and where you will use them. The universal, as you expect, this is for all kinds of woven fabric. Starting out, this is probably the one you want to stock up on in a few different sizes. The ballpoint or jersey is the same as above but for knit fabric. The difference is the tip of the needle is rounded, so instead of piercing the fabric, this pushes the threads aside and passes through. That way you don't break and disrupt the weave of the fabric, which is how you get skip stitches and curled seams. If you are someone who sews regularly with knits, you would stock up on these too. That's your sort of basic stash. Denim needles are strong needles, usually in larger sizes. These are for tough fabrics, including canvas. Anything where you have multiple layers of thick fabric that needs the strength. I'd get a pack of these for hemming jeans. People will ask you, it's inevitable. The leather needle covers faux leather and vinyl too. It has a special shape, a little like an arrowhead, so it doesn't damage the material and stops the material grabbing it back. They also usually have a larger eye to help stop the thread tearing as it passes through. A microtex or sharp is a very sharp and fine needle, perfect for silks or densely woven fabrics like appliques. The top stitch needles have a large eye to use thicker top stitching thread. Twin needles stitch 2 rows at once, so it's perfectly spaced, really neat and faster finish for double top stitching looks or pin tucks. Nearly all modern machines can use these. If you can sew both straight and zigzag, they will work. They come in different widths. Home machines are getting more features each year, and having an embroidery function is possible. These needles are essential for embroidery. They have a larger eye for the thicker embroidery thread you use. The eye is also usually placed closer to the tip of the needle for cleaner stitches. If you have a serger or overlocker, you will need needles for this too. They are labelled overlocker, and again you will need to match up with the categories above for fabric types just the same. Some overlockers take regular machine needles. Read your manual and it will tell you. This is not an exhaustive list, there are more needle types, but these are the main categories. When you go to buy your needles, you'll be looking primarily at two things. First the type and then the size. Packs are sold in two ways commonly, which is one type and size in bulk. Then they have packs of one type with a range of sizes. Option 1 is for people who have a garment type they just stick to and love. Option 2 is what home sewers tend to buy more and will give you a few options to trial for different garments. I do recommend buying a good quality branded needle rather than bulk buy packet offer. You'll find them on certain websites we all know for a quarter of the cost. You can risk damaging your machine, so the money you do save, in the long run you can actually just cost yourself more in repairs and replacements. The big brands are mostly compatible with one another. If you have a Singer machine, you are not restricted to buying Singer needles. Your local haberdashery may not carry that particular brand, and it may be easier for you to try a different brand, such as Organ. I don't recommend any brand, I use multiple, and I've yet to find one I have issues with on my machine. Just as I say above, avoid off-brand unless it's been recommended to you by someone with experience whose opinion you can trust. You want to put in a new needle at the beginning of every project. Now that is approximately 8 hours of sewing per needle. I usually swap that up a little and I use my needle from my last project to do all the sewing on the toile for my next garment. I then swap to a shiny new appropriate needle when I begin work on the actual construction of the real fabric I'm using. If I'm doing alterations, where it's just a couple of hems for example, I will place it back in the packet and I will use a marker to just dot on top. Once I get to so many dots, I know it's had quite a bit of use and I bin it. What you will find if you continue using an older needle is that you will start to get runs in your fabric. You may hear your machine sort of struggling a little, it will be noisier, a sort of funk 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 sound. And it's simply the needle tip has gone blunt and is struggling to pierce the fabric. That extra effort will cause your machine to have a lot of wear and tear over time. Can result in the thread getting tangled up and jamming. Thread may start to even break. It's not good for your machine or your garments you sew. Needles are sharp, they are dangerous. Please do not just throw these in your bin like you would your general waste. Depending on where you live, your local waste disposal sites will offer a sharps bin. Use this if you can. However, the handiest way to do this is to just store them. I have an old plastic pin container I use. All my old used pins and needles get placed in here, and I will continue to store it till it's full. This is a good 3 years old and I've still got lots of room to go. Have a sealable, hard case tub, and then when it's time, figure out where you can take these for your area. I've heard people say online they look for chemists that offer needle disposing service bins. It's not something I've used myself, but it seems another good option to inquire about. If you cannot get a place like this, at the very least, dispose of the full packet like this. Tape shut. You don't want some poor recycling worker stabbing themselves and getting all kinds of infection because you're lazy. I hope you have a better understanding now of the different needles and why it's important to use the correct one. Remember to download the printable guide in the description to store this information handy near your machine. Please like, comment and subscribe to support my channel. It really helps and I do appreciate everyone who does. I'll see you in my next video and in the meantime, happy sewing.